Christianity is not Stoicism. Somebody asked on Twitter about Christianity and Stoicism. Colloquially, Stoicism or being stoic means to just be tough, be deep, unemotional, to take things stoically is just not be to be over emotionally, but philosophically, Stoicism is the idea that the good lies in no pleasures at all, which is contrasted with Epicureanism, which is basically the good is lies in pleasures. So and this is kind of has been a religious tension between a more sort of puritanical frame of mind where we need to deny all pleasures whatsoever, good or not, and then the sort of hedonist model that we have now, the neo-pagan slavery, which is just all pleasures need to be received, and you want to be just enslaved to those things. Christianity is neither of those things. The virtue lies in the mean. The mean of virtue. Virtue is always a mean between excess and defect. There's an excess of too much of something and a defect. We talk about the virtue of studiousness. Studiousness is the mean between curiosity as a vice, which is studying useless things to the neglect of your duties of your state in life. That's the vice of curiosity. And then you have the vice of negligence, which is a defect in not studying anything at all. So the mean here is studiousness, which is studying just enough that you need for your duties of your state in life. When we talk about pleasures, there is also the virtue of eutrapelia. Eutrapelia is basically the virtue of using pleasure properly. That is, eutrapelia is the virtue of right recreation. It's where you are using pleasures, and obviously it's assumed that these are all good pleasures, lawful pleasures. So recreation, eating a good meal. We're in Lent. You should be fasting today. Today is abstinence. So we're not eating a sumptuous meal today. We're fasting. We're abstaining today. But with eutrapelia, you need to take the amount of pleasure that you need to give you the recreation and the rest that you need for your body, for your well-being. So it's not too much pleasure, which would be the Epicurean idea, where you are just being a hedonist, you're enslaving yourself to your pleasures. And on the other hand, it's not too little pleasure, because we are human beings. We have a human nature and we have bodies. We're not angels. Angels don't have bodies, but we have bodies, and we do need to have some pleasures for the sake of eutrapelia, for the sake of recreation, recreating ourselves, resting. And that's why there's the Sunday rest. We need to rest on Sundays. Even in the old fast, the fast was relaxed on Sunday. So you could eat more meals on Sunday, even though you couldn't eat meat and dairy and eggs. So Sunday is always relaxed. That's why there's always that relaxed rhythm. Now, and then we need to be careful during Paschaltide that we don't gorge ourselves and we eat too much and we go to the other extreme. If we're fasting a lot during Lent, we're doing great on that side, but then if we go to Paschaltide and then we just eat enormously, then we can lose all the merit and the progress spiritual life that we have made. So we need to moderate all that. So even in the Lenten fast, we need to moderate our fast, don't do too much fasting, and then during Paschaltide, don't do too much feasting. It's all about moderating that, finding the mean, governing yourself with your reason and not with your passions. That is the goal of coming to that well-balanced life, that spiritual life where your reason is the thing dominating your whole being, your passions are not controlling you, your intellect and your will are lifted up to God.